Who's
I'm on the line.
Is it Mark?
It's Mark, yeah.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Mark from the Advocates, and you sent over this little a suggestion. I think it's a good one. Walking through the steps of a typical case that the Advocates do. Well, just walk us through what generally happens with a typical case.
Sure. So, as we've said on your show numerous times, what we typically recommend to people right when they get in an accident, a lot of people think, hey, what's the first thing that I should do? We always tell people that they should first call the police. So call the police, even if it's a very minor accident. A lot of times if it's a minor accident, people think, hey, should we just exchange insurance information and go on our way? But we always say, no, make sure you call the police so there's an actual record of the accident, and you make sure you're getting the right insurance information and contact information for the other driver that you were involved in the accident with. So call the police. After that, we always say the next call should be to the Advocates. And from there, we can tell you if you have a case. If you do have a case, then we would schedule a time to meet with you. Right now, with the coronavirus, we're doing virtual meetings if people are more comfortable with those. So we would discuss everything over the phone. We could even do a video chat, and then we would send you the paperwork that we would need you to get signed so that we could start representing you. And then from there, the case really goes into your treatment. So what type of treatment you have to receive. We wait for you to be released from treatment before we approach the insurance company about a settlement, because one of the things we're going to be asking them to do is to cover all of the medical expenses, and we need to know the full extent of your injuries. So once someone is done with treatment and they're back to full health, then we go to the at-fault insurance company, so the insurance company of the driver that hit you, and from there we start negotiating a settlement. So that's the typical process. A lot of people wonder if they're involved in a lawsuit. They don't want to get involved in a lawsuit, and most of the times with the Advocates, you don't get involved in a lawsuit. We only end up filing on about 5 to 10% of our cases. Usually we're just able to reach a settlement with the insurance companies without having to go to that level.
Of course, then I have to keep paying you guys all the way along, don't I? I mean, every week, or how do you charge me? I mean, every month? What do you do, Mark?
No, and that's actually the nice thing, because, most people are familiar with attorneys taking a retainer up front and billing an hourly rate. We take all of our cases on what's known as a contingency fee basis, which means that you don't pay us anything up front. You actually only pay us if we're able to get you a settlement. So if we went all that way and couldn't get a settlement, you wouldn't owe us $1. There's not ever going to be a time that we'd come and ask you to pay us.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen where you don't get a settlement. You know that.
Listen to him.
Not.
You win. No, it's not. See, Gina, I'm right. It's not going to be.
Gina, you got to have more faith in us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this is typically it's car accidents, but I know you do all kinds of stuff, right?
We do, yeah. So mostly it's car accidents, but we also do slip and falls, trip and falls. As we're getting more into winter, we start seeing more of those cases. So people going into stores, apartment complexes, condominium complexes, really any commercial building, we get a lot of calls regarding trip and falls. So, we take those cases. And then, of course, we've talked on your show about dog bites. We handle dog bites and workplace injuries as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, too, that the insurance company, do they try to reach out behind your back to the client sometime?
They do, for sure. One of the things that we hear, especially if someone waits a few weeks to call us, is one of the reasons they'll get tipped off on calling a lawyer is someone from the insurance company will call and say, hey, we know that you were in an accident. We want to take care of you. We're offering you $500. And that kind of, a lot of people go, huh, something.
Don't fall for
that.
that.
They go, this sounds kind of fishy. So we get a lot of calls based on that, and people saying, hey, what should I do? This just didn't seem right with the offer that they're making. So, they definitely, the insurance companies want to get people to settle as fast as they can, because once they settle, then they're off the hook for paying for any future medical bills or anything. So they want to try and settle it within a couple days of the accident happening.
I remember Matt.
You're in an accident.
I remember Matt saying that an insurance company would call somebody and say, how are you today? And the person would say,
Right.
well, I'm fine. And they say, well, I'm calling about, and then later on in court they say, well, we called that person and they said they were fine.
Right.
Yeah,
they definitely play those tricks.
Jeez. Well, Mark, the Advocates, 801-355-5550. I know they've helped out. You guys have helped out a couple of people in our office, and I would feel confident in calling you up if I ever needed your services for certain.
Well, we appreciate that.
All right. Nice talking to you.
Good talking to you guys. Have a good week.
You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.